Hi, I'm Meaghan Hickey, and I'm the coordinator of the LaRosa Partnership Program.
And I'm Benni Marques, the Eco AmeriCorps serving with DEC Rivers.
And this video is to show you how to access and display data collected through our program. So the first thing you need to do to access your data is to navigate to the LaRosa Partnership Program website. You can either follow the link that appears on the screen, or you can Google LaRosa Partnership Program, and it should be the first search result that comes up. Once you get to our website, as you can see here, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see that there are several other subpages of the website. You're going to want to click on the section that says Data and Reports, just like this. That will take you to a list of all the different data display tools and reports that we have available. So the first data report here is the Flow Data Dashboard. You all are probably already familiar with this. This is where all of your Survey 123 flow data observations go when you submit your Survey 123 forms. This has a separate video tutorial that we've already created that's linked here. So if you want more information about how to use the Flow Data Dashboard, follow that video link listed here on the website.
So we're going to start with the monitoring site details report. So you just click into it. And here you're going to want to put in your partner name. So like the name of the organization that you represent. I'm going to start with Addison County Riverwatch just because it's on top. So that's what I'm going to click. You get the loading circle and we're going on to the next page. Here, you'll be able to view and export all current and historic LPP monitoring site names and details by organization. So, all the sites that have been sampled by the organization will appear, including sites that may have been sampled by other organizations over the years, in addition to the selected organization. So, for example, if Dead Creek has been sampled by both Addison County Riverwatch and Bennington County Conservation District, it would appear under Addison County Riverwatch and Bennington County Conservation District because both organizations have sampled that site at one point or another. So we have the partner ID, which is the name given to the site by the partners. We have the location name, the stream name, latitude, longitude, town, location description, and years sampled. We also have this little search bar. It's easy to miss, but it's important that we know it's there. So I'm typing in Hollow Brook. I hit enter. And now give it a second, and then you can see it puts the first result for my search right at the top of my page. So here's Hollow Brook, and it just brought it right to the top. And we also have these arrows, which if there were more sites that needed to be paged through, they didn't all fit on one page. You'd be able to click on these arrows and see all of the sites that have been sampled. If you wanted to export something like this, one of these pages, you'd be able to click this save button with an arrow, and then you can choose the file type that you want to export the data in. Now we're talking about the water chemistry data report, where you can see all of the official quality assured LaRosa data. So even if you have received PDFs throughout the season of data that has not been quality assured and that is not official and should not be shared with the public, this database is the best place to access all official data. So you click into it, and you can start by setting a date range. So maybe you don't need data going back all the way to 1965. Maybe you just want to see 2023s. So we're going to give it a second. There we go. These characteristics and columns should be pre-selected with everything that should be of interest or could be of interest to the LaRosa partners. But if you, for some reason, wanted to click through and select something else, you are able to do that by just clicking the drop-down arrow. For both of these, a lot of options. But you don't need to click on them. You're going to click whichever organization you represent. So I am going to use Addison County Riverwatch again. Then you'll click View Report and you'll get this green loading circle. So we have the date that the site was visited. We have the time that sampling began, the location ID, the LaRosa site ID, location name. So we have the depth in meters, and then we have the parameters that we're selected for. So total chloride, total nitrogen, and total phosphorus. Here, similar to the previous database, we have a search bar. So I'm going to search for mud. I hit enter on my laptop. And then it brings the first result for mud right to the top of the page. We also have the save button with the green arrow where you can export the data to any of these file types. We also have these arrows for groups who might need to navigate multiple pages. For groups who have sites sampled by multiple groups, if you want to see which group collected the data, click the columns drop-down arrow and select Project Ref ID. So I will demonstrate that. We're going to Connecticut River Joint Commission. Need to click View Report again. I am someone representing the Connecticut River Joint Commission, and I go through all those steps. I don't change anything. I just clicked my organization from the beginning, and this is what I'm looking at. But I know that some of my sites have been sampled by other groups in the past. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the columns and look for Project Ref ID. So it's right here. I'm going to click View Report. And now we have this additional column, which can tell you what group sampled the site. So a lot of these say Connecticut River Joint Commission. But if we went back, I don't know, I'm going to put in 2010. Because I'm not exactly sure. We can see that some say CRJC, some say CON-RWC. And that can help distinguish between who sampled the site when.
The next link that's available on the Data and Reports page is a link to the LPP Power BI data presentation tool. Now, this tool is a bit more involved, so we will be creating a separate video that describes the details of this report, but for the purposes of being brief for this data tool overview, I'll just show you very quickly. This is what the Power BI data presentation tool looks like. You can filter by organization, by stream name, by parameter, and by year of sampling. And there are multiple pages where there's different data displays, including maps, land use bar charts, scatter plots like this one here, and box plots as well. So stay tuned for a more detailed video that goes through the entire Power BI, and it'll be linked here on this site as well. The next few links that I'm going to talk about are not necessarily for accessing current LaRosa data, but are still helpful. So for example, here we have a link to the Lakes and Ponds Lay Monitoring Program. They are our volunteer monitoring counterpart for monitoring lakes and ponds in Vermont. So if you are a group that also participates in the Lay Monitoring Program, this is where you can access more information about that program and their data as well. Over here, we have links to our past partner reports. So it used to be a requirement of the LaRosa program that you had to write a more formal data report at the end of each season. This is no longer a requirement for the program, but for groups who participated when it was, this is where you can find links to your past reports. Over here, we have a link to the Vermont Integrated Watershed Information System. So this is also known as IWIS, and this is a link to all of our water quality related data. So the LaRosa data is included in this database, and also our biomonitoring program data. So we also collect benthic macroinvertebrate data, we collect fish data, and we collect habitat data as well. So all of that is linked in this database. If you do want to access LaRosa data through this, you can. This is just not the most efficient way. I would suggest one of the other reports that were previously described in this video, but you can click on the site search tab and you can type in the name of a LaRosa site. So for example, I'm searching NBOR 4.4 on the North Branch Ottauquechee River, and all the data that we have will pop up for this site. Now, this site is a LaRosa site, but it also happens to be a biomonitoring site, so that's why there are links to the macroinvertebrate data as well. And down here is where you'll find links to the water quality and chemistry data, which looks very similar to our water quality chemistry data report specific to LaRosa. You also find links to the site location in both Google Maps and ANR Atlas, which I'll talk about next. And this monitoring site summary gives an overall summary of all the available data. So this is what it looks like. You can see this site has macroinvertebrate data, which is summarized here, and there's links for more details and more information. There's fish data as well. And then here is the chemistry data. So for most sites that are LaRosa sites, you will only see this report for water quality data and each of the parameters that were sampled. And then down here, finally, we have some habitat observation data as well. Another cool feature of IWIS is that you don't have to search just a singular site. You can search for all the data on a particular river or stream. So for example, if I search Lewis Creek, every single site that we have on Lewis Creek, both LaRosa and biomonitoring will show up, as well as any sites that have Lewis Creek in the description as well. And just like before, you can see links to all the data that's available. If it's a LaRosa site, you'll see the LaRosa ID listed here. And if it's a biomonitoring site, you will see a site ID listed here as well. Now, finally, I'm going to talk about the ANR Atlas. Now, this is a statewide mapping tool that exists for all sorts of Vermont-related geospatial data. So this includes layers for dams, layers for impaired streams and waters, layers for soil or land use, all sorts of different things. There's also some really cool tools, including measurement tools. There's a watershed delineation tool, a land use tool, so all sorts of really helpful things. And if you want to learn more and get oriented to the ANR Atlas, you can click on this link here on YouTube, and it'll send you to a YouTube video tutorial. I'm going to just briefly talk about how to access the biomonitoring in the water quality sites layer. So if you go down here to the bottom left, you can click on the Layers tab, and you can search under Filter Layers, Water Quality. If you go ahead and check the box next to the water quality monitoring, this will bring up a layer of all of our water quality and biomonitoring sites. So nothing shows up right now. That's because I have to zoom in. So if I zoom in on a particular area, I'm going to zoom in on the town of Heinsberg. You have to keep going. And eventually, you'll see these icons pop up that represent biomonitoring or LaRosa sites. So the cross represents where the site is located on a stream, and the different icons represent what data is available. So the beaker represents chemistry, so LaRosa sites will just be one of these chemistry-only sites, and sites with bug and fish and tree icons have biomonitoring data on bugs, fish, and habitat. The color of the bugs represents the assessment, so if the stream is healthy and the assessment was very good or excellent, it will be green, and various colors depending on the water quality health. So hopefully that's helpful, and that gives you more information on how to access both LaRosa data and additional biomonitoring data as well. Thanks for watching.